All right, so here in the kitchen we have part of the circuit. This was a switch right here. I was working, I didn't show this, but I took this switch out. It was just buttoned up there. It goes downstairs to one of the old knob and tube circuit lighting circuits for the basement. That's been disconnected, so we need to rewire at least a single pole switch here. Probably going to run a 3-wire up here so the neutral's available for it. And then we'll pull down this BX. Hopefully what I want to do is I want to use this piece of armored cable to actually pull down my new cable. If it's possible, I'm not sure. But whoever put this box in, this is not right. And it's going to take me a little while here to fix this. You got a screw in the side of the box. That's not okay. I'm trying to give you the best light right there. But you can see the screw right there, I hope. All right, you can't have that. And this thing's hanging on. There's another screw over here. It's just going right into the lathe, which is kind of shitty. So I'm going to wind up taking out this box and run a new wiring up here, and then we'll cut in a new box, and it'll be on the surface of this tile right here. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Taking out this box, what that'll also allow me to do is to have more room to run my conductors. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to run a new 20 amp circuit and a 15 amp circuit up into this box, and the 20 amp circuit is going to be for a GFCI receptacle, since this is a countertop, and the 15 amp circuit is going to be a switch leg with a neutral that's required by the code. Trust me, you don't always want to have to take out the box, but here I was able to do it, and it just gives you access, more room to pull your home runs or pull your conductors up from the basement. So here I'm just tying on from the BX cable my fish tape, and I'll pull this down into the basement and before pulling everything back up into this box. It's never easy to hold the camera to get a good shot to show you exactly what I'm doing and do the electrical work itself. That's why the camera's so shaky. So if you like this video, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I answer most questions that I do get on the channel. I like to leave a little buddy end on the end of the fish tape here, so that when I get the cables, I'm able to remove the vinyl tape easily. That's what a buddy tape is. Okay, so you're asking yourself maybe, why am I using a 3.5 inch device box? Well, it's simple. The more room in the box, the more cables you can put into the box should you need to fish some more later on. I don't always stock these deep boxes, but I had them here. Obviously, I got the new van, and it's not 100% situated just yet. I'm close, but the deeper the box, the more room you have to work with, and it's easier to install devices when you have a larger box. Then again, you might not always have room for a 3.5 inch box. So here I have the regular 2x4 depth of the wall, and then I have the plaster and lath, and then even some tile over that. So I have plenty of room to install these 3.5 inch deep boxes. And yes, they're called old work boxes when they have the ears on the top. That prevents it from falling inside the hole. So I had to modify the hole just a little bit here. As you could see earlier, I had a hard time getting the old box out, and through the magic of editing, made it look simple. But be real careful here not to damage the tile if you can. Definitely experience is important at this juncture of this project. You know, I gotta say, when I read in the comments of a young electrician, it tells me that my videos really help him understand the work he's doing and makes him better at his job. That really makes me feel good that I'm able to teach the next generation coming up so that they know how to do this work and why they're going to do this work. So that's why I always put these code sections. I know maybe the average homeowner might be interested in the code sections, but if you're a young apprentice coming up, or maybe even somebody that's been doing this work for 10 years and now you realize you got to get your journeyman certificate before you get your license. If you're watching these videos for that type of education and you're getting that, that's just the battle has been won. It's not that necessarily it's a battle, but I do like teaching the next generation coming up why we do things and how we do things. There's such demand for electricians and electrical work that it's good for you to be searching for that content to learn more about this trade. So you're in the right place, and just keep pushing and keep working hard, and eventually you will get there. And if you have specific questions, I always like to answer them in the comments, so don't be shy. Go ahead and answer those questions. You can also email me at electricianron@mac.com. All right, so that's just up inside the that finished ceiling space you see right there. Those aren't pop-out tiles. I'm not exactly sure what they are. I'd rather not take them down if I don't have to, but I'm just fishing the cables across the ceiling here back to the panel, so I can connect them in the panel, and I can finish up and energize that new box that we just put in on the kitchen countertop. It's nice when you have access to be able to run your wiring. Now, you're going to see inside here the panel pretty soon here. It is a little sloppy inside there, but that's because they added that portable generator wiring emergency circuit box beside it. So inside the panel here, yeah, it's a little... Ugh. I didn't see any violations, and the main bonding jumper was in there, so I'm going to consider it good. The old light inside this bathroom here was an old, like, 8-inch square recess light. We're going to be removing that, and you're going to see in a moment why. I suspected that it was wired like a bootleg and a fire hazard, and in a moment here you'll see why. So we're going to run some new cables over here and install a 6-inch LED light in its spot. This is why you check things before you go disconnecting stuff or running new, just to make sure that it's in safe working condition. Does that look safe to you? Alright, so as it turns out, just by prodding around and with a little bit of space I had up inside of here, I concluded that this cable right here, this MC cable, BX cable, goes to the switch. So I was pulling on the wires coming out. So we're going to disconnect it. We're going to reuse the switch leg, and we'll probably, I guess we might remount this light, we'll see. But we're going to disconnect the old feed, which was this other conductor. And so they just bring the neutral to the light of the fixture here, and they energize the black wire, or rather the white wire, for going down to the switch. And then when you turn the switch on, the black conductor gets energized, turning on the light. We're going to do a similar setup to that now. What I'm describing is what's known as a switch loop. So you bring power into the light, and then you use the white conductor to bring power down to the switch, and then the black wire coming back on that same cable energizes the light, so you can control the light on and off. Nowadays, you would be required to have a neutral in that switch box. Table 314, Tax 16A, shows you the box trade size of boxes available for use, recognized by the National Electric Code, the minimum cubic space inside that box, and the maximum amount of conductors inside that box as well. A very useful table in the National Electric Code. Also, it should be noted that by adding a plaster ring, a raised plaster ring, some of them are 1/2 inch, 5/8, sometimes 3/4 inch, will give you additional cubic volume space in case you made a boo-boo and you have too many conductors in that box. Since I'm using a metal junction box here, I need to install a green ground screw and wrap my equipment grounding conductor around it, therefore bonding this metal box. I'm sure some electricians prefer to strip the non-metallic sheath cable before putting it into the connector. I like to put it inside the enclosure first and then strip it back. It's really 6 dozen the other. If you're an electrician, what do you like to do? Do you prefer putting the cable inside the enclosure and then stripping it, or stripping it before putting it in the cable? So now that I got my junction box in here, I think this is the next day when I came back. Actually, I just recorded a bunch of footage and now I'm editing it. I came back and I just put in this 6-inch round. It looks like an LED wafer light, but it's actually on the surface in lieu of the old 8-inch square recessed light that was there before. So the cutout's a little bit larger than I wanted it to be. But, you know, this basement's not perfect, and I made a game time decision to do it like this. Let me know in the comments what you think of this light and whether or not it meets the code. Now this footage was recorded, but I couldn't find the footage of actually putting in the new box and new receptacle. However, I wanted to take this box out and check the connection because there's armored cable coming up from the basement that was previously connected to the knob and tube. And as you can see here, that the BX cable is actually coming in through a knockout, but there was no clamp, so I could not use that BX cable as an equipment grounding conductor. So we wound up taking this box out, putting a new box in, and putting in a new receptacle and cover plate. And this is the end of that video. And unfortunately, there's no conclusion to the video. So anyhow, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and as always, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Hi, this is Ron from Classic Electric. YouTube thinks that you'll like these 2 videos on the screen, so go ahead and check them out. Don't forget to leave a comment, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.